Welcome back. Now in this video, we are going to enter into one of the autoresponder company accounts. We're going to set up an email list, and we're going to set up a form where people can put their name and email address in order for them to become part of your customer database. Now, while you can certainly use any of the other autoresponder companies that we talked about in an earlier video, we are going to be working with GetResponse for this course. So we're going to go into the GetResponse dashboard, and we're going to start by setting up a list there. Now that you've set up your account with GetResponse, what we are going to do is we're going to start by creating a campaign. And all we've got to do here is there is a drop-down menu here, and we are going to get started by going to that drop-down menu, and then we're going to select this link that says Create Campaign. And we're going to start there. So go ahead and click that link that says Create Campaign. And then you're going to come to a space where you're going to name your campaign. Now, this name does have to be unique across all of the GetResponse customers as well as all of their lists. So one of the things that I do in order to create a unique name is I will name it based on my niche as well as the year as well as the month, and then sometimes even the day. So in this particular case, if I'm going to be working with the internet marketing, and I'm going to be working, let's say, in February of 2015, and let's say I might be working at the 28th day. Okay, then this will give me an idea, and it'll also give me a little reference point as to when I actually created the list. And so I'm going to go ahead and click Create Campaign. And what you're going to notice there is that this has already been successfully created. Now, you may get a message that says that your list name has been taken. You might have to do another one. But if you pretty much use something like the system that I just showed you, you are going to be fine in terms of your name being available. Now, you're going to see four spaces here. One where we talk about creating a newsletter, creating an autoresponder, and editing campaign settings. For now, I'm not going to talk about creating a newsletter or creating an autoresponder. What I am going to do is I'm going to go into editing my campaign settings. So let's do that now. And when you come in, what you're going to want to do is to come to the Profile tab. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to edit my campaign title. I'm going to call it something unique. I'm going to write in a unique title based on what I know I'm going to be doing in terms of collecting names and email addresses for this list. Okay, so I have a unique name. I'm going to click Save. Then they kind of want you to kind of put your list into a category. We can do that. And in this particular case, I'm going to say that I'm primarily focusing on education. And then I'm going to go ahead and save that. I'm going to do my campaign description. Okay, so I've got a little description there. I'm going to go ahead and click Save. Right, and because it's going to be about those who want to learn how to make money online, I'm going to write that in there. Whatever your particular market is, you can just write that in there into your campaign description. If you have a logo for your online company, you can put that there. All you're going to have to do is upload it. I'm going to skip that step. We're not going to do that right now, and we are going to go on to the next step. Now, if you're just getting started, you can leave these default settings the way they are. You do want to have a confirmed opt-in for those who subscribe by email or web subscriptions. When you get more advanced, you may want to work without the confirmed opt-in, but as you get started, it's best to go ahead and use double opt-in. You can actually have this message being sent by HTML, or in other words, they're going to see images instead of just a plain text email. But again, you can leave these default settings unless you have an idea of why you want to change them to either a custom URL. You can just let your confirmation page be hosted by GetResponse. So we're going to leave those settings there. Now, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go back to this general tab here, put in any details that I'll need. But for the most part, I'm going to suggest that you leave the default settings in the general tab unless you have a reason to change them. Now, if we completed that, we're going to now go to the next step. And that next step is to create a web form. So we're going to go here, we're going to click Create New, and we're going to click that link in the dashboard. Now what we're going to do at this page is we're basically going to create a form where your customer or your prospect they're going to put their name and email address, and when they put it in there, it's going to automatically be stored at GetResponse inside of a database of your names and email addresses, and it will prove that you have permission to send these customers and prospects email. So what you're going to do is to pick one of these designs, maybe one of the ones that you feel is most or closest to what it is that you are going to be offering. And then when you do that, then you're just going to click and you're going to click apply. And then that's going to give you the ability to work on this to work on this some. If you want to make it larger, you can do that. And what you're going to do here is you're going to write in here. Things that will entice your site visitor in order to come and actually get what it is that you have to offer them. Now we're going to be talking about that in the next video. We're going to be talking about giving your site subscribers a bribe in order for you to get their name and email address. And this is what you're going to kind of fill in here. We do have to do this step before we talk about a bribe so that you'll know how to edit your form. And when you determine what your bribe is, you're going to write in here something that will entice your visitors to want your bribe. But for now, what we're going to do is we're just going to write in a line here, even though we know we're going to come back and change it. Okay, so I've written this in here. And again, we may come back and change this once we determine what our bribe is. I'm going to click apply. And then we basically have a form where our users can actually sign up. If you want to work with that button to make it a little more centered. And then what we want to do is we want to just click next step, and that's going to bring us to a page where we're going to be looking at the list of choices here. We want to just leave the default settings the way they are and click default thank you page, because that's where we're going to look. Now when you get to be more advanced or you have a good idea of what you want to do with some of these other things, you can do them. But if you're just getting started, it's probably a good idea just to use the default settings and to go forward. So basically now what we're going to do is we're going to go to the next step. We're just going to click next step here. And that's going to bring us to this page. Now, for purposes of this course, we're going to use this button that says GetResponse is going to host our form. And we're going to go ahead and click copy to clipboard. And then we're going to have the URL that's actually going to be our form. We put that URL in our browser. We notice that our form comes up here, and now our customers now have a place to put their name and email address. And when they do that, they're going to be part of our database. You'll also notice that you can actually make changes and edits to the form where you have there. You can actually change the look and feel of this if that's not something that you like, and make it into something that you like. And then you will then have a squeeze or autoresponder page in order to start collecting leads. Of course, to edit the form, we could just go back to the previous step and go back to the design phase, and then we can make it look exactly the way we want. But for the most part now, we have a form that we like. We have a form that we now can work with, and we are going to now go to the next step. So with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video.